So Bob Arum, predictably, is saying that his fighter, Tyson Fury, will beat Wilder again easy. He says there was no slow count in the first fight. He's going to win again. So let me quote the Bob father, as he is affectionately known as by a lot of boxing fans. He said, Fury won that fight easy. Easy. I wasn't watching that fight in person. I was with Alexander Vozdek, who was in Quebec to win the light heavyweight title. Vasyl Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk were there to support him. We all went to a room to watch the fight on television. At that point, nobody was expecting anything from Tyson Fury because he had been out of the ring for so long. We scored the fight and we had Fury winning at least 8 rounds. Watch that fight. Fury won the fight easily. He goes on to say, no, it wasn't a slow count. Jack Reese is one of the best referees in the world, and certainly in America and certainly in California, the leading referee. No, it wasn't a slow count. It was the right kind of count. Every time there is an upset like that, they call it a slow count. When Mike Tyson knocked Buster Douglas down, they called it a slow count. There wasn't a slow count. There is always an excuse in boxing because boxing lends itself to that. Fury was 65% of what he will be in the next fight. Wilder was at 90% of what he will be in the next fight. There is one winner in the rematch, and that's Fury. Wilder has a puncher's chance. He's a devastating puncher, but Fury is not going to get caught like he did in the last fight. So that's what Bob Arum has to say about the situation. Now, first of all, I have to disagree with him when he said Fury won the fight easy. If you're on the floor twice and the second time you're nearly out, you nearly get counted out, then it's not an easy fight. Okay. Also, when it comes to the scorecards, I didn't think it was so controversial. If you watch the fight, forget about the body language of the fighters. Watch the fight and see who's actually landing punches. Watch it in HD on a big screen television. Look close. Who's actually landing punches? And who's landing the most clean, effective shots? You'll see that most of the rounds, the vast majority of the rounds in a fight are razor close in terms of who's landing the more clean, effective shots. So plenty of rounds there which could have gone either way. But I guess a lot of people were swayed by Fury's body language and his showboating and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that he was making Wilder miss. Yeah, he's making Wilder miss a lot. But making a guy miss when you're not landing a significant number of, clean punches yourself, I mean, what's that? Yeah, you make him miss and then he hits you with a shot. Okay. After that, you know what I mean? It cancels it out. So I have to disagree with Bob Arum on that. But with regards to the count in the 12th round, that's where I agree with Bob Arum. There was nothing wrong with Jack Reese's count. He was right to let Tyson Fury continue, evidently because Fury ended up getting up and winning the rest of the round. So clearly it was the right decision. And this was the 12th round of a championship fight between two undefeated fighters. Tyson Fury's been down before. He's been down heavy before. He's shown the ability to get up and continue and recover from being knocked down heavy. Jack Reese was right over Tyson Fury. He was looking in his eyes. He was reading his body language. He saw the way his body was when he went down. So it probably wasn't as shocking to Jack Reese, who was right in there and can hear the breathing of the fighters and look into their eyes. It wasn't as shocking to him as it maybe was to a lot of us, because he was a lot closer to the action and there in person, and he could see that, maybe Fury could get up. So either way, he administered the count. Fury made it. Was it close? Yeah, it was close, but he made it. All of these people running around with watches, stopwatches, timing the count. Oh, see, it was 0.5 seconds over 10 seconds. Like, come on. That's what you call reaching when you're doing stuff like that. A referee is not a digital clock. Most 10 counts are not exactly 10 seconds. And that was actually proven in the Mike Tyson Buster Douglas fight when Don King started complaining about the count and he was trying to get Buster Douglas stripped of the belts. HBO did a video where they played, and you can watch this video on YouTube, they played the 2 knockdowns in the Tyson Douglas fight simultaneously next to each other. And they showed the count for both men, the count that Buster Douglas got in the 8th and the count that Tyson got in the 10th. by referee Octavio Moran, and the counts were identical. So Tyson's count was exactly the same length as Buster Douglas's count, and both of them were over 10 seconds. Okay, because a referee is not a digital clock. He's a human being. So it's not going to be precisely to the millisecond 10 seconds. Sometimes it's going to be slightly under, sometimes it's going to be slightly more, but you're talking a second or a fraction of a second. Yeah? So Jack Reese's count, nothing wrong with it. Good decision. Tyson Fury gets up, does his thing. In the rematch, can Tyson Fury avoid the right hand? Because if he'd stayed on his feet in that 12th round, he'd be WBC champion now. I think Deontay Wilder has improved. I think he's more controlled now. He still struggles with movement and balance and stuff like that. But that's why he's so conservative with his punches. Because the more Deontay Wilder throws, that's the more chances he's taking, and the more he's going to be throwing just for the sake of throwing, and a lot of the time he's going to be off balance. He's going to get countered. He's going to waste energy. You understand? So what he does instead, what we saw in the Ortiz rematch, is we saw him wait and wait and wait and wait until he knew he was in the perfect range, in the perfect moment, you know, everything lining up, and that's when he let the right hand go. Yeah. Whereas before in previous fights, like in the first Fury fight, he was letting the right hand go when he hadn't really lined it up properly. He was swinging and missing. He was off balance and all that kind of stuff. So I'm expecting a better Deontay Wilder in the rematch. The only thing I would say is, as I've mentioned in previous videos, he can't wait as much as he did in the Luis Ortiz fight. He has to be more proactive in working for his openings against Fury. Yeah. And the key to that will be the left jab. You can jab with a jabber, as the old adage goes. Can't hook with a hooker, but you can jab with a jabber. Wilder needs to get that left jab off. And be patient, but be throwing your jab. He was actually doing it in the early rounds of the first fight, Wilder. He was jabbing with Fury. He was jabbing to the head and to the body. But he was also loading up on that right hand at every opportunity, even early on, and trying to take Tyson Fury out of there. He needs not to, don't load up on the right hand. Just jab, jab, jab. Eventually, the opportunity will come to land the right hand. And when you throw it straight, just like you did against Ortiz. That's the way he needs to do it. And for Tyson Fury, he's got an emotional opponent in front of him in Deontay Wilder, an opponent who's not as intelligent as Fury is. And I'm not just talking about in terms of boxing. Even out of the ring, just in general, Tyson Fury is a much more intelligent human being than Deontay Wilder. Fury needs to take advantage of that, manipulate that, you know, get Deontay Wilder mad, get under his skin, get him to break away from his poise and become reckless again. That's what Fury needs to do. In fact, you know, he knows what he needs to do. He's not going to learn nothing new from anybody by way of how to get under an opponent's skin. He knows what to do. And that to me is one of the keys to victory for Tyson Fury, because if Wilder's in there and he's cool and he's boxing and he's, you know, jabbing with Fury, Fury's in trouble. I'm telling you, he's in trouble. If Wilder can stay calm and just box with him, I think Fury's in trouble. He needs Wilder to be wound up. He needs to get under his skin. You know, all the showboating and stuff like that. That got to Wilder last time. It made Wilder angry, which is why he was loading up on the right hand. So he's angry at the stuff Fury was doing. He wanted to make Fury pay, not just for the stuff he'd said before the fight, but the stuff he was doing during the fight. All the showboat made Wilder real angry. But don't get angry in a boxing ring. It wastes energy. Yeah. Especially don't get angry when you're in against the guy who can make you miss on a consistent basis. That's not the kind of guy to get angry against. You know? So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting, the Wilder Fury rematch. Hopefully it does take place in February. Hopefully Tyson Fury's eye is as well healed as it can be, because it would be a massive shame to see that rematch and then, you know, round 2 or 3, Fury's eye opens up again and it gets stopped on a cut after 4 or 5 rounds. That would be terribly disappointing. So hopefully they've got the best plastic surgeons or whatever the case is, who have done the best possible job on Fury's eye. And we'll get to see a good fight next time out. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Hamming them out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.